Hello, everybody. It's Marcia Regan here, and I'm thrilled to be coming to speak to you for your Saturday inspiration around the soul's journey. So I wanted to speak about this because we are in the energy of 2022, which is indigo. And really, if I was to say, what is this year about? It's about new life. And this new life is really living from the soul, letting the soul of who you are to really, really come to the surface. And the soul has like a journey. We are souls really in a human body, and we have come here on the earth plane to learn and grow and expand. And over the next few weeks, I will be sharing specific information to support you and to give you a real understanding about what soul is, who you are on a soul level. But let's start maybe to meet yourself where you are and understand where are you in relation to the soul journey. So there are four journeys of the soul. And I'm going to first start with the soul awakening. So the soul awakening is whereby usually something, happens in your life where you're kind of asking, you start to ask questions. So it's moving out of what we've been told, the conditioned self, the limitation of the mind, and the awakening is really you're going, there's got to be more to life than this. There is more to me than meets the eye. Life is not going according to plan. Usually at this kind of soul awakening phase, like, there is a loss or there is an illness or there is something significant that wakes you up, right? That's why it's called soul awakening, that wakes you up and says, you want to search for something. And so then you start the awakening of like, it's not what you thought. So you start to look for information, you start to research, you start to learn maybe new specific skills like, like color therapy, emotional freedom technique, integrated energy therapy, Reiki, all those kind of, we'll say they're called complementary, but for me, they really are an essential part of life. So you really are discovering actually, in a nutshell, that you are an energetic soul, right? That this energy that we may not be able to see, like electricity, but it exists. Like if you don't have electricity in your home, you can't use anything in your home. And so it's the same with us as human beings. If we really aren't connecting with the energy and with the soul of who we are, then we're walking around in a daze, in autopilot, and we're not feeling that sense of fulfillment, that sense of joy, that sense of magic, that sense of connection, that sense of possibility. And so this is the awakening part of the journey. And we all have gone through it in some shape or form, okay? Then, and you can be quite a few years, because that is an inner journey. So the soul awakening is the inner journey. So instead of looking outside for, fulfillment, for recognition, for feeling good, we're learning actually it's all inside of me. So you are really discovering who you are on a soul level. Then you will find you start to use these tools, see the transformation, feel different, get really passionate, get really excited, going, oh my God, I want to share this. Oh my God, there's something, you're discovering something deep within you. And this is really felt like on the heart and the solar plexus, right? So there is like an energy that you really want to do something with this knowledge to help people to know about how they can change their lives in some shape or form. And that's when you move into the soul purpose. So the soul purpose, actually, that phase, it requires you to have great courage. So it brings up maybe a lot of your fears, a lot of your insecurities. And so this is why at this phase, it's really important for you to be around like-minded, people to overcome your fear, to get out of your own way. And the sole purpose is you have these skills now that you've learned, but you're learning another aspect of how do you put your skills, put your work out there. So you would be, generally you are going into having this as an extension of what you currently do, right? So it's like you are in your normal, work situation, life situation. So that could be, you're a mum, you have your children, you're looking after your children, but actually now that they're in school, it's giving you more time for yourself. Or you've spent now your life looking after your children, they've gone to secondary school or they've gone off to university, and you really are finding, oh my God, who am I now? So your identity has kind of changed, that things are not resonating anymore with you. And so you're like, you have learned skills and you really feel, oh my God, now I'm ready to take this out into the world and share this amazing wisdom. And this soul purpose phase, I have seen from the women that I've worked with, it can take anything from probably 2 to 5 years to really, be in that phase. Or it can take even longer. It depends on how willing the person is in letting go and surrendering, letting go of the control, letting go of their stories. It really depends on the person, on how long you're in this phase. Then in the soul's purpose, you're getting really clear. You're learning more about yourself. You're learning other skills. You're learning like marketing, sales, networking, learning more about your work, getting much more confident, having, clients that you can say, yes, this is the transformation that happens. And you really feel that there is a great sense of purpose in your work, in yourself. And then also the other thing is that if you're not in business and you are in a work situation, because your purpose could be that you are in, like we'll say, the traditional, 9-to-5 job, your purpose there is really important because your presence is required. I know when I was in my purpose, I was in a bank, I wasn't actually awfully keen, like I felt my time was done in there, but I also felt that the divine timing wasn't right for me to fully step out of that, because, and I could even hear people saying to me, oh my God, you light the room up. Oh my, so we are required to be in certain places at certain times. And that's also part of our purpose. Then the next phase is the soul mission. And the soul mission is about a greater clarity about who am I, the I am presence. What am I here to do on a big level? So it's like, it's the mission. It's like giving yourself permission to say, I am limitless. I am infinite. I know that I'm now ready to step into the other aspects. So for example, what I have found with the divine is that if, like, your mission could be that you're here to write a book. Now, when you are in your purpose and you're discovering, if you were told in your purpose to write a book, you would run a mile. So your guides have said to you, the guidance would have been write an article or, start generally writing, or write a blog, or, do your first video, open up your social, create a social media account for your message. So it's like, create a Facebook group so that you can start sharing your wisdom. And so that when, the mission is that you're writing a book, you're being brave, stepping into something that you initially maybe were afraid to step into. So for example, there's a woman in Divinely Prosper who is was a midwife, and she is actually stepping into her mission now, whereby she is left that whole medical system, and she is what does she call it? I think she's helping people on a soul level to really she's midwifing people to really step into their soul. So that's the mission that she has. And also remembering that all the skills that we have had in our lives, like when I work with people in my acceleration one-to-one container, I'm always looking at, let's look at the skills that you have been given, that you have been perfecting in your life, because this is preparing you for the next phase of your soul's journey, right? So personally, for myself, to give you an example, I started working with Aer Lingus, and Aer Lingus for me was absolutely amazing. I think every single person should consider working in an airline, because it gives you great personal development skills, in that you are really looking at, you're dealing with all kinds of different people from all kinds of walks of life, who are lovely, who are aggressive, who are they come to you and you turn the situation around. So you really are developing great interpersonal skills in something like, for me, working for Aer Lingus. So I think that gave me the ability to work with any kind of a person, right? To really develop those skills. And then I trained and got a degree, an honors degree in business studies. And of course, this is helping me in my business today, and it's helping me work with creative, spiritually sensitive, heart-centered women, to really say, I am a businesswoman, because there's a lot of beliefs around the businesswoman, so I'm changing that into really working with the energy and the divine feminine, and then bringing in the masculine. So I'm kind of turning it all on its head about the traditional male testosterone way of doing business. So that's helped me in my work today, but I didn't know that at the time. And then I went into Reuters news agency, and this is where I learned my skills of presentation. I remember when I was an account manager, we did presentation training, because I was going into big corporates, and big banks, and also media companies like Sky, to teach them how to use the system, which is also interesting about the whole tech side of things, how to find information, to use the Reuters system to find information. And so I had to come up, had to go in and present to these people, that were quite high up as well in their positions. And so my learning there was, I remember when I was doing the training to stand up and speak, it took me 3 attempts. I was wobbling, I was nearly crying in my throat. I was so scared. And it's hard now to believe when you look at me, but I really was, I learned that skill. I was being prepared for this work, right? And then I went to a bank, and in there I also worked with dealing and overcoming the fear of authority. So it's like that I was stepping in to the authority, my spiritual authority, the authority figure that I am, that's heart-centered. And so then eventually I was able to, and I've developed skills as well myself, to step in then to my, to the purpose and to the mission. And now I'm in my calling, right? So for me, my journey that I've stepped into my calling about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it took me probably 15 or maybe 16 years to move into my calling. So that's kind of the general journey that I had. So that's just to kind of give you a perspective, because I'm seeing that a lot of, particularly women, we can be really hard on ourselves, and we want to be moving in. We want it to happen straight away. And it's just like, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's like, this is, and you know what? You don't want it to happen like overnight either, because you're missing the joy of the journey and who you're becoming along the way. And we all will have seen people who rose really high, but because that kind of, it's not sustainable, then you'll find that they drop and they're back down to square one again. So we don't necessarily want what we want. We want the step-by-step rising, the leaps, we want that way of creation, because you're building solid foundations and you're getting stronger in your sense of self. And you are reaching higher, and you're really learning, like, building a house. It's like, instead of putting the house up straight away, you're like you're learning as you're going, and you're getting really clear on what you want. So this is also why the soul journey, who's wise, is actually working with the rhythm of you who you are on a soul level. And at this mission phase, it's like you're getting to the phase of seeing yourself. You're kind of less caring about what people think. You're going for it. You're on, you're someone like, on this mission. You're a dog with a bone. You're doing what it takes. You're getting out of your own way, and you are doing it, even though you feel the fear, even though you have that discomfort. So this phase of the mission is that, that mission phase, there's an awful lot of kind of discomfort, because you're breaking through all your limitations, okay? And then the final phase of the soul's journey is the calling. And the calling is, how can I describe that? The calling is bigger than you think. Like, so when I was told you are the voice of the ancient divine feminine, I was like, you've got the wrong woman. And I was crying. I was like, oh, but it's on a soul level, on a heart level, because that's where our soul is. I felt it to be true. I felt it to be so true. So this calling, actually, the phase of the calling is liberation. If I was to give it one word, it's feeling liberated. It feels like all the stories, all the limitation, they have no more power over you in the calling journey, okay? So there, of course, you'll always have the stories, you'll always have, things to be dealing with, but there's no more power over, okay? And that's the difference. That really is the difference. And this is where you're stepping into the leadership energy in a full way, right? So I'm wearing red here today because red is associated with leadership, with success, with passion, with that sense of purpose. So it's really, the leader is that you are you really are creating from this infinite source of potentiality, and you're leading the way. So there's no following. You're not here to follow. Now, this takes an awful lot, and I'm finding in the leader, in this calling and leadership energy, that it uses that you're using an awful lot of the base chakra, the heart chakra, the higher heart. These centers are really being activated, and the sacral chakra is really, really also very much part of that. So they'd be the 4 strong chakras that I'm kind of that I find are being activated in relation to the calling energy, right? So whereas, actually, I should have said that about the chakras as well, for the different phases of the journey. Like, so whereas for the awakening, this is really opening up the heart and opening up your third eye, like really opening up your mind, opening up your third eye, opening up your crown. And then as you're moving in then to the mission, then this is your throat. Like the mission is, the purpose, that this is like coming into your you speaking, being seen, being heard, using your voice. So, and then once you've done that, then you're stepping into the mission. And the mission really is also the throat, and it's the heart. It's speaking from that heart, and it's the solar plexus. This is where actually you're stepping into your full power as you step into your mission. So I'd love to hear it from you, like what resonates, where do you feel you are in your soul journey, and what were your 3 takeaways that you're taking away and you're going to use and sit with and kind of immerse in, that's going to support you to embody the phase of your soul journey. So thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you a wonderful week. Take care. Lots of love. And be sure to share this with anyone that you feel is in this journey of discovery, and one would, you'd find that would really give them some perspective of accepting and seeing, oh, this is why this is happening. This is where I am. Mwah. Take care. Bye.